Hello, all you internet people. Welcome to our third episode of Potter Tongue. My name is Chris, and I'm very excited to be here. You probably have heard the term Potterhead used. She's a Potterhead. Oh, he's the biggest Potterhead you'll ever meet. Being a Harry Potter fanatic, I've certainly have come across this term, and I myself use this word. But what does it actually mean? What is a true Potterhead? Once and for all, I'm going to be answering that very question. Potterhead is not just your typical Harry Potter fan. I think where the confusion surrounding this word comes from is that most people think that a Potterhead is simply a fan of Harry Potter. This is not the case. Potterhead is someone who has a constant thirst for knowledge and involvement with Harry Potter, especially the books. For a Potterhead, the books aren't just something you read. For example, Potterhead might scan through the books because they're obsessed with knowing all the Quidditch stats about their own house, or be intrigued about finding out how many times Hermione cries throughout the series, which is surprisingly a lot. But it would not be surprising for a Potterhead to have a list of every single spell that's appeared throughout the series and how many times that spell has been used, well before Pottermore published that most unoriginal article showing every spell and its frequency from book to book. Were the people at Pottermore really that thick to think that the most devoted of us Harry Potter fans hadn't already done that? I mean, I made this list when I was in middle school. Couldn't have been the only Harry Potter fan cataloging certain things like this, was I? I have here two lists. The first one are 8 different things that would not, I repeat, not make you a true Harry Potter fan, aka Potterhead. And the second one are things that are to be expected from the most die-hard devoted Harry Potter fans. So let's start the first list. Number 1, you've only seen the movies. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I won't need to elaborate on that. Number 2, you haven't finished reading the 7-book series and haven't even read a Harry Potter book within the last 3 years. Something that's inherent for any die-hard Harry Potter fan, like myself, is that there's something about the series, different to every person who reads them, that just you connect on a different level, whether it's for a different character or the story or the symbolism behind what's going on, but there should always be something that pulls you back to the series. And, you know, if you meet someone that hasn't read a Harry Potter book, let's say 5 years, I mean, that right there should tell you that they're not that serious about Harry Potter. Number 3, you lack the desire to start a collection. Okay, so I'll say this once and I'll say it again. Being a Harry Potter fan is very expensive. I mean, there's a lot of merchandise out there for us to buy. It's just the simple truth. And just from my own experience, being in love with Harry Potter for so many years, I have several shirts that I have. Now, I didn't go out and set out to collect so many shirts. Just over the years, I've obtained these shirts because I like what they are or the different colors and so forth. But there could be other things like chocolate frog cards that I actively go out and try to collect. But this is what leads into number 4, that you only care about collecting stuff, which should not be the case if you're a true Harry Potter fan. You know, just because you have a huge wallet and want to buy the newest thing that comes on the market right as it's released, that's not what being a Harry Potter fan is about. You know, it's all about the books and the stories. That should be the main grounded focus of your devotion to the story. That's where everything comes from, the books. Yes, it's nice to have a bunch of wands or memorabilias and movie props, but if you're only obsessed and talk about your collection and what you have, that's again, people aren't going to take you as seriously if you're only all about that. So you need to do more than just collect stuff. Number 5, you're not interested in Harry Potter trivia or testing your knowledge of Harry Potter. So one of the things I always love is interacting with other Harry Potter fans like myself, and not even quizzing each other on things, but just talking about what we love and the story, and just getting it all out there, because we could be so isolated and just in our own minds when we're reading the story, or just experiencing what we love. But it's so great to connect with other diehard fans. And, well, like I said, if you're not interested in Harry Potter trivia, testing your knowledge, I just find that hard to believe that you, as a Harry Potter fan, doesn't want to prove or demonstrate your fandom and prove that you know the ins and outs of the story, and basically show that you know your stuff. So that's number 5. Number 6, you reference the movies over the books. So, for example, if you're talking to someone about the first book, the first story, and specifically the detention that Harry has to go to in the Forbidden Forest with Hagrid, and you bring up, oh yes, he had to go there with Hermione, Draco, obviously Hagrid was in charge of the detention with Fang, and of course, Ron was there, and you're like, wait a minute, in the movies, Ron wasn't there, and yeah, it's just these subtle differences that you can get caught up in, but knowing the difference between the books and the movies goes a long way in having people connect with you and take you seriously with the story. So that's number 6. Number 7, you like another franchise more than Harry Potter. All right, so I need to clarify this to say that yes, you can like other franchises like Marvel, DC, Twilight, Mortal Instruments, or even Disney and Pixar, but Harry Potter should be at the top of your list of your favorite franchise. You just can't devote yourself to Harry Potter and being the biggest fan you could be if you like something else more. I myself enjoy the Marvel movies. Ever since the first Captain America movie up till now, I've seen every Marvel movie in theaters, with the exception of the first Guardians of the Galaxy. But my number 1 fandom is for Harry Potter, and that's never going to change. And finally, number 8, you're not a year-round fan. You're just hyped about Harry Potter when something comes around. Like on TV, they show all the Harry Potter movies back to back to back, or the newest Fantastic Beasts movie is being released, or July 31st rolls around, or you want to dress up as a Harry Potter character for Halloween, but don't have any interest in Harry Potter throughout the rest of the year. This, I don't know how you can call yourself a Potterhead and not think about Harry Potter every single day and just want to be a part of the Wizarding world that much. You gotta be committed 365 days a year. Just have to. So if you have one or more of these that apply to you, you are not a Potterhead. So, on to the second list. The first one is that you've read the 7 books double-digit amount of times. So, for myself, I started reading the Harry Potter books back in 2003, and up to the present, I have read the 7-book series 20 times, right? So 20 double digits. And not only that, you have to have read the series within the last 3 years. So, like I said with the first list, there should be something pulling you back to the story that we all love. Whether it's, like I said, the characters, or good versus evil, or just the escape, you know, it's, if you haven't read a Harry Potter book in the last 3 years, what are you doing? And let's go to number 2. Number 2, you have at least 3 collections. So I want to be very clear on this. Just collecting things and buying Harry Potter memorabilia doesn't make you a Harry Potter fan. But inherently, as a Potterhead, you're going to be collecting and buying things that you like because it's your favorite thing in the world. So having at least 3 legitimate collections is the bare minimum for any Potterhead. Which brings us to number 3. That you've made your own homemade butterbeer. Now, notice I didn't put attempt to make homemade butterbeer because if you don't succeed, you know, I don't imagine no one would just give up if they're really determined to make their own butterbeer. Which happened to me the first time I made butterbeer. Was pretty disastrous. But that didn't stop me. I slowly perfected each of my recipes. And from what you see in my other video, fun video, I have perfected my frozen butterbeer. So don't let any failure discourage you from that. Number 4, you get super pumped when you get a chance to test your Harry Potter knowledge and trivia and other interactions with Potterheads. So like I said with the first list, you're always willing and wanting to prove yourself because you think you're a huge Harry Potter fan, you claim that you're a Potterhead yourself, but do you really know your stuff? I met this girl who claimed that she had an encyclopedia knowledge of Harry Potter, and as a Ravenclaw, I asked her to name 7 Ravenclaw students that attended Hogwarts with Harry. She could only name 1. That is not a Potterhead. Number 5, you know the difference between the book version and the movie version, and you're willing to explain or clarify the difference in case someone mixes up book from the movie story. So let's say that someone says, oh, I really like the scene or the moment where Slughorn taps his hourglass in the memory that we get to see with Tom Riddle at 16 years of age. And you're like, oh yeah, that was entertaining. And then they continue on and you're like, wait a minute, that only happened in the movies. That didn't happen in the books. He had a golden watch clock. So it's just little things like that, but you got to be willing to specify the difference between the book and the movie because there is a big difference. And one is legitimate and the other is not. So, number 6, you plan on or already have been to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal. So, just first finding out that the Wizarding World was going to be a thing, like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I mean, of course I'm going to do everything I can, save up all my Muggle money to make the trip to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And I've been blessed to be able to go multiple times, and I believe every Potterhead should at least go once in their life. So if you're not excited or willing to make the effort to go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, you are most certainly not a Potterhead. Number 7, Harry Potter has a deep, meaningful part in your life. So I said that the most devoted of us Harry Potter fans are committed and into Harry Potter 365 days a year, year-round, not just, a partial Harry Potter fan, and only cool stuff comes up throughout the year. But aside from that, to be devoted and committed and buying all this stuff and caring about the story and the Wizarding World and what it means to you personally, I mean, there's a reason why the series has been popular for as long as it has been, and a lot of people keep going back to the story, rereading it, and new fans continue to be made every time the series is discovered. There's something that each one of us connects with the story, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And for me, it's such a great escape to go to the Wizarding World, read the books, and just be a part of Harry's world fully. And I love it so much, and yeah, it means quite a lot to me. So that concludes the second list, and those are 7 things that are to be expected from the most diehard, devoted Harry Potter fans, the basic minimum who want to call themselves a Potterhead. In conclusion, just because you're a Harry Potter fan doesn't make you a Potterhead. Solely buying a lot of merchandise, especially when it immediately gets released on the market, doesn't make you a Potterhead. If you want to be a true Potterhead, it starts with knowing your stuff. Knowledge is essential. I should make a shirt that says knowledge is essential. So read the books again, because knowledge is essential, and reject the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And remember, constant vigilance! So now, it's time for our unofficial sponsor, Bertie Bott's Every Flavor Beans. A risk with every mouthful. You just never know what you're gonna get. Bertie Bott's Every Flavor Beans. The next time you're on the Hogwarts Express and looking for that sweet snack, find the trolley witch and pick up some beans. Don't be afraid. She's really just a witch and not, I repeat, not some guard that will impale you with her spikes if you try and leave the train. Bertie Bott's Every Flavor Beans, the best wizarding snack for a true Harry Potter fan. Available everywhere wizarding candy is sold. So, ladies and gentlemen, the only thing left to do is to spin the Weasley wheel. Weasley, 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 Weasley. Weasley is our king. He always lets a quaffle in. That's why Slytherins sing. Weasley is our king. Weasley is our king. He never lets a quaffle in. That's why Gryffindor sing. Weasley is our king. All right, let's spin the Weasley wheel. Here we go. What do we got? Here we go. The Weasley wheel, as featured in the previous Potterhead episodes. Alright, so I'll spin the Weasley wheel twice and do whatever the note card to the corresponding character says. So, the first spin, here we go. Charlie. Very good. Studying dragons in Romania. It says, do a reaction video. Okay, so just like in the past episode where I got do a collection video, I will have to do a reaction video sometime in the future, and this will most likely be a reaction video to a Harry Potter TikTok video compilation sort of thing. I'm not on TikTok whatsoever, and I've heard a lot of things about TikTok, and there's a lot of Harry Potter content on there from what I've been told, so I'm really looking forward to this to see what's out there and to react to some cool Harry Potter TikToks. So look forward to that in the future for my first reaction video. All right, second spin. Let's see who we get. Let's do a better spin. Blank spot. Let's spin again. Bill. Very good. The oldest Weasley. I missed Bill in the 6th movie. Didn't you? Alright, it says Veritaserum, or Truth Time. Okay, so Veritaserum, obviously the truth potion. So that means I will have to share with you all one slightly embarrassing personal thing about myself related to Harry Potter. So when I first started reading the Harry Potter books back in 2003, I was in third grade, and with the first two books, Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, every time I came across the name Professor Snape, in my head when I was reading it, I was saying it as Professor Snap. I know. It was pretty. Yeah, that was quite a moment when I watched the movies for the first time after I read those books and heard Professor Snape. And then it sort of took me a while, and I was like, oh, Snape, not Snap. Professor Snap, Professor Snape. Oh, that makes sense. So, yeah, that was a pretty, that was a pretty silly moment for myself early on in my Harry Potter discovery. So, yeah, Professor Snap, don't get on his bad side, potions teacher. And that concludes this episode's portion of the Weasley Wheel. All right, you Potterheads and non-Potterheads, that concludes this episode of Potter Tongue. What is a Potterhead? And I hope I've given you some clarity on the word Potterhead, and yeah, basically the videos that I choose to do for these episodes, I feel like are on topics that are important to me and that need to be discussed. And for people who claim that they're a Potterhead, just have a minute of self-reflection and really, really think about your life and your fandom to Harry Potter, and consider whether or not you are a true Potterhead, because a lot of people throw that word around and it really gets on my nerve, because being a Potterhead is, like I said, not something every Harry Potter fan is. So I hope this video helps clarify that. And until next month, cheers.